Have you ever wondered why religious beliefs, meant to foster peace and unity, often become the cause of wars and conflicts? This paradox of faith and conflict is one that has puzzled many. On one hand, religions universally encourage love, unity, and peace. They provide a moral compass, guiding us towards compassion and understanding. Yet on the other hand, they have been and continue to be the catalyst for some of the most brutal wars and conflicts in human history. This brings us to the concept of religious wars, also known as holy wars. These are conflicts primarily caused or justified by differences in religious beliefs. However, it's not as straightforward as it seems. There's an ongoing debate about whether religion is the main factor in these conflicts, or if other elements like economics, ethnicity, and politics also play significant roles. Some scholars argue that conflicts labeled as religious wars may actually have secular motivations. They suggest that ethnic animosities, political rivalries, or resource competitions are significant drivers of these conflicts, with religion being used as a convenient banner under which to rally supporters. Take a look at some of the most infamous conflicts in history: the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, the Crusades, the 30 Years' War. All these had religion as a central theme, yet economic, political, and ethnic factors were also at play. In fact, according to the Encyclopedia of Wars, only 7% of historical conflicts had religion as their primary cause. This ambiguity leads to another debate. What exactly defines a religious war? Some argue that it requires the involvement of religious leaders and pious soldiers, while others contend that secular leaders and soldiers can also wage a religious war, as long as it is justified by religion. The applicability of religion to war is also questioned, as the definition of religion itself is difficult to define and isolate as a factor. Religion can serve as a cultural marker or ideological rationalization in a people's cultural heritage, further muddying the waters. Religious wars remain a subject of debate, as the definition of religion itself is difficult to define and isolate as a factor. It's a complex issue, one that continues to shape our world in profound and sometimes devastating ways. Religious wars have left indelible marks on human history, shaping societies, cultures, and civilizations. These conflicts, fueled by differences in faith and beliefs, have evolved over time, from the early Crusades to the modern confrontations we witness today in the Middle East. In the Middle Ages, religious wars were defined by the Crusades, a series of holy wars launched by the Christian states of Europe against the Muslim states of the Near East. The objective was to reclaim the Holy Land, a region sacred to both faiths. These wars, driven by religious fervor, had an immense impact on the world, shaping the course of history and leaving a lasting legacy that is still visible today. As we moved into the modern era, the nature of religious wars began to shift. The lines between religion and politics blurred as conflicts were often justified by faith but driven by political and territorial ambitions. This is particularly evident in the numerous conflicts that have plagued the Middle East in the past century. Here, religion serves as a cultural marker, a means of distinguishing one group from another. It becomes an ideological rationalization for conflict, a way to justify the struggle for power and control. However, it's essential to note that the role of religion in these conflicts is often complex and multifaceted. While faith may be the rallying cry, other factors such as economics, ethnicity, and politics often play significant roles. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, for instance, is rooted in religious differences but is also fueled by territorial disputes and political tensions. So as we trace the path of religious wars, we find a tapestry of conflicts where faith intertwines with politics, culture, and identity. These wars have not only shaped the course of history, but have also influenced ideologies and societal norms. They have defined identities, drawn boundaries, and sparked transformations. The impact of religious wars extends beyond the battlefield, influencing ideologies and shaping societal norms. As we delve deeper into this complex relationship between faith and conflict, we begin to understand the profound influence these wars have had and continue to have on our world. Let's delve into some specific instances of religious wars and examine the underlying causes. Take, for instance, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. While this conflict is often framed as a religious one, pitting Judaism against Islam, it's important to note that the roots of this conflict are deeply political. The struggle over land, rights, and national identity are the driving forces, with religion often serving as a cultural marker, rather than the primary instigator of strife. Similarly, consider the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. These conflicts, too, are often labeled as religious wars due to the involvement of Islamic groups. However, a deeper look reveals a complex web of political motivations, power struggles, and territorial disputes. Religion, in these instances, can be seen as an ideological rationalization or a means of rallying support, rather than the root cause of the conflict. And it's not just these specific cases. Many so-called religious wars throughout history have had significant political underpinnings. The Crusades, often held up as the epitome of religious warfare, were as much about political power and territorial control as they were about religious fervor. This is not to say that religion plays no role in these conflicts. Far from it. Religion can intensify conflicts, provide a rallying cry, and add a layer of complexity to disputes. But it's crucial to remember that religion and politics are often deeply intertwined in these situations, making it difficult to separate one from the other. Religion can serve as a powerful identifier, distinguishing us from them and giving conflicts a sense of cosmic significance. But it's the political, economic, and social factors that often light the fuse and drive the conflict forward. So, the next time you hear about a religious war, remember to look beneath the surface. Ask yourself, what political dynamics are at play? What economic factors are involved? Is religion the primary cause of the conflict, or is it a symptom, a rallying cry, or a marker of identity? In many instances, religion and politics are not separate entities but complexly intertwined, adding layers of complexity to conflicts. As we move into the 21st century, how has the landscape of religious wars changed? The question itself poses a complex challenge. As the centuries have unfolded, so too has the nature of religious conflicts. Today they are not merely confined to the battlefield. They've permeated into our daily lives, morphing into forms that are both conspicuous and subtle. In this era, religious wars have taken on a new face, one that is often marked by extremism and terrorism. These conflicts are no longer just about nations waging wars against one another. They have become ideological battles, fought by non-state entities that cross borders, both physical and digital. This shift has been fueled by the rise of extremist ideologies which weaponize religion to justify acts of violence. The role of technology and media in these modern religious wars cannot be overstated. Today, the internet serves as a potent tool for radicalization, recruitment, and the dissemination of extremist propaganda. Social media platforms in particular have become battlegrounds where ideological wars are waged and hearts and minds are won. They enable the rapid spread of divisive narratives and misinformation, amplifying the voices of extremists and terrorists. But there's another side to this coin. Technology and media have also been instrumental in promoting dialogue, understanding, and peace. They've allowed for a broader exchange of ideas, helping to challenge and dismantle extremist narratives. They've given voice to the voiceless, allowing for counter-narratives to emerge and thrive. This new landscape of religious wars is complex and multifaceted. It's no longer just about religion or politics, but also about ideologies, economics, and technology. These wars are fought not just with guns and bombs, but with words, images, and ideas. They are as much about winning hearts and minds as they are about territorial gains. The evolution of religious wars continues, with new dynamics and complexities adding to the historical narrative. Having explored the landscape of religious wars, what can we glean from this exploration? We've journeyed together with a shared curiosity through the turbulent history of religious wars, from their earliest manifestations to their modern-day counterparts. At the outset, we asked ourselves whether these conflicts were truly a result of religious differences, or if religion was merely a veneer for deeper, more complex issues. Through this exploration, we've discovered that the truth is multifaceted. Indeed, religious wars are often deeply intertwined with other factors such as politics, economics, and ethnicity. It's like an intricate dance where each partner influences and is influenced by the other. We've found that the label of religious war can often be misleading, as secular motivations can be equally, if not more, influential in sparking these conflicts. We also delve deep into the question of whether religion, as we understand it today, can even be applied to the concept of war. We learned that the very definition of religion is not universal, but rather a cultural construct that varies greatly across different societies and time periods. The words we use to define religion, like Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, and Confucianism, are themselves relatively recent inventions, shaped by our interactions with diverse cultures and ideas. In the Hebrew tradition, for instance, there is no clear distinction between religious, national, racial, or ethnic identities. Similarly, in the Quran, the word din, often translated as religion, was historically understood as law. The Sanskrit word dharma also embodies this dual meaning. These linguistic nuances remind us that religion can serve as both a cultural marker and an ideological rationalization, deeply embedded in a people's cultural heritage. In conclusion, the landscape of religious wars is complex and multidimensional, a tapestry woven with threads of faith, politics, economics, and cultural identity. It's a topic that demands careful examination and thoughtful dialogue, challenging us to look beyond the surface and understand the myriad factors at play. While religious wars remain a contentious topic, understanding their complexities and nuances is a step towards fostering dialogue and, ultimately, peace.